deepening energy crisis is looming over the Balkans as Serbia warns it may lose the ability to run its only refinery unless Washington renews a crucial US license for its Russian-owned operator. With banks halting transactions and crude pipeline flows already disrupted, officials in Belgrade fear the country's energy lifeline could snap, triggering shortages and nationwide instability. The crisis sits at the center of a high-voltage geopolitical triangle. The US controls the license, Russia owns the refinery, and the European Union is pressuring regional states to cut reliance on Moscow. This clash of interests has turned Serbia's refinery into a symbol of global power politics, playing out in one of Europe's most vulnerable energy corridors. Adding fuel to the tensions, Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó launched a fierce attack on Brussels, accusing the EU of pushing countries into impossible positions and risking regional collapse by attempting to curb Russian energy purchases. His comments have injected fresh political shock into an already volatile situation.
There is a package called Repower EU that Brussels wants to push through, and with this package, Hungary is being placed in an impossible position as they want to prohibit us from purchasing energy carriers from Russia. You Serbs understand exactly what this could mean from a Hungarian perspective. This forceful decision by Brussels would mean that Hungary would be one of the, instead of 2 oil pipelines, Hungary would have to base its oil supply on 1 oil pipeline. 1 oil pipeline instead of 2. This would create a vulnerable situation for Hungary, as vulnerable as the situation you are in, precisely because the country's energy security depends on the supply from a single oil pipeline. Brussels wants to put Hungary in this situation too, and we see what it means to depend on a single oil pipeline in vulnerable situations. And not only because, if in a given case a war also breaks out, then sanctions are imposed on someone.
Serbia, meanwhile, has escalated its stance, warning it could seize control of the NIS refinery if the US blocks the license renewal. The threat signals a potential sovereignty showdown that defies sanctions pressure and could further destabilize relations with Western partners.
In case they are not successful, or if the U.S. government does not approve, the state, along with its relevant institutions, will step in and do what is necessary, make certain decisions in order to maintain control over NIS, so that it would no longer be in the hands of Russian ownership. What we hope, in any case, is that these negotiations will be successful and that they will be approved by the U.S. government, and that NIS will continue in an unhindered manner and with the ability to operate in our market and to remain one of the most significant companies, as it has been until now.
Behind the scenes, governments are scrambling to prepare for worst-case scenarios, discussing compulsory reserves, new pipelines, and multi-year emergency planning. This uncertainty reinforces fears of an extended energy war in the region. Hungary has also cautioned that any disruption in Serbia will echo across neighboring states, widening the crisis beyond national borders and setting up a David versus Goliath confrontation between smaller nations and Brussels, one charged with emotion, vulnerability, and geopolitical stakes that continue to rise.